Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast, and today we are going to be reviewing One Piece manga chapter 1062, Adventure in the Land of Science. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. Also, this is your host, Akainu Fanboy, and your other co-host, Geboss, and we are continuing the Vince Smoke cover story, which is kind of becoming one of my favorites very quickly, to be honest, because now it looks like this may potentially confirm one of our theories that we had. Man, I had to say a couple months ago about the Blackbeard pirates coming into Whole Cake, because this looks to be the work of Aokiji.
Yeah, we see Chocolate Down completely frozen over by the looks of it, and we thought that Blackbeard was gonna come when Big Mom was away to kidnap Pudding, but once we saw Blackbeard on Amazon Lily, we're like, oh well, that theory might be dead. But now with this, because there was there were two people that showed up in Chocolate Town on the previous cover story. So those can be two. It can be Aokiji and then another Blackbeard pirate that came along. Mm-hmm. So I'm really interested to see that because I mean, Katakuri and Oven are the strongest people that are left on the island, and
and Cracker maybe.
Oh yeah, Cracker. I just assumed, yeah. Well, was Snack on the ship? It doesn't matter, but
yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
But yeah, they're busy with the Vinsmokes right now, so they could be distracted while Aokiji and the other person go after Pudding.
Yeah, Aokiji just low dipped this entire island.
Oh yeah. Well, we've known that he's been this powerful before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so the question is, do you think they're gonna move on to Whole Cake Chateau? Because that's where the poneglyph is.
It's hard to say because I mean I kind of forget the exact layout of all Big Mom's territories, like all the different islands. Mm-hmm. So I mean they could be.
It was on the main island. It was on the main island. It was like in her palace.
Yeah. But you pointed out that Chocolate Town is where Pudding had her shop. It was a shop, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's because I think when those figures showed up before, we kind of assumed that those were like Reiju and Ichiji.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, yeah, they're probably gonna need the last poneglyph too, and then obviously Pudding, and then they're all like good to go. Well, I guess they would still need the Wano poneglyph as well, and the one in Zo too. So, I'm curious to see if the next cover story, if they flesh out this more, or they just kind of allude to it right here and stop it. But yeah, it's definitely a lot longer than I guess. Yeah, I remember early on I was saying potentially we could see the Blackbeard pirates come in this cover story. So I guess that was a few rare W on my part. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it though. And then so starting the chapter. We get to see and have the revelation that this is one of Vegapunk's androids. And I think there was a consensus in the community this wasn't actually the person of Vegapunk and everything.
Yeah.
And you see Frankie fangirling, but Robin's the one who usually has the information, just kind of like be like, no, that's not actually Vegapunk,
Yeah. Yeah, we get more into the powers later on in the chapter, but it's interesting to see how kind of all the different. So there are 6 different like Vegapunk satellites. So it's interesting to see how they have their own kind of like different personality, and kind of what thing is in. Emotion is in the forefront for them, because this one so they said that the main body was called Stella and this one's called Lilith,
Yeah.
How Lilith is, I think that they said later on in the chapter, Lilith is like the evil persona. So, yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes, because, I mean, people have kind of compared this to in Naruto with Pain and his six bodies too. Which to be fair is a valid comparison, but I want to see Oda's twist on it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And it was, I don't know, it was pretty tight to see all the sea beasts though, with all the weapon. Like, that's a formidable defense thing, you know.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like a double fruit user in that situation, you're gonna kind of be in some trouble too. Just, you know, having some high caliber sea kings there, coming at you with all that tech and everything. So it's an impressive feat.
Yeah.
But she does, you know, get over cocky and everything, and Zoro is within range, and Vegapunk has to be like, "Hey, chill," you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like the only two people who are like taking this seriously are Zoro and Robin. I saw people were debating like, oh, they didn't even list Sanji in that. That means he's weak. But I mean, it's up against a female, so.
Well, same with Frankie. Like, are you gonna say like he's weak too? Because they're just kind of like their weakness right now. You know, big tech and a pretty girl. You know, so like they're not gonna be threatening. You know.
Yeah.
And she kind of alludes to that. You lulled me into a false sense of security. You know, and that's part of it. They can act like goofballs in one moment and then be serious the next. You know.
Yeah.
And it was kind of interesting to see the layout of the logic Dr. Vegapunk, you know? I don't know. Any thoughts on what the logic Punk 1 would look like?
No, but it kind of reminds me of, there was a picture, like when I was going through the One Piece wiki looking at the Killer article, that his mask was based off of something, and this mask kind of reminds me of that, but
Gotcha.
just from the back. But I'll be interested, because we've seen two female at this point we've seen two female ones of Vegapunk, so I wonder if it'll be split like evenly, like 3 girls 3 guys, or what. But the other thing that I found interesting, like out of everyone, like Zoro was the one to say like, there's something I want from you. So yeah. I was kind of surprised by that. I have no idea what that could be referring to. Do you have any thoughts?
No, no, really, I can't really think of anything, because he has, I'd say his only connection to the world government is Dashigi, and I don't know, maybe, I don't know. There's not much I can really think of in regard to that.
Maybe trying to get his swords to have a devil fruit in them, but that doesn't. I mean, that just doesn't seem like his character, though.
Yeah.
To
maybe the off chance he heard about the Mihawk Seraphim, I don't know, but it's maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it is interesting. Out of all the characters, Zoro's the one that's asking and stuff. But yeah, you know, seeing Bonnie, because I know there was a lot of theories on how old she actually is, and she seems to be roughly the way she portrays herself as, you know, in terms of age. I know there's a theory that she was just a little kid. And then there's like a theory that she was an old lady this whole time, but no, we get a good sense of her age now. So
yeah, it could have gone either way with her powers, but but yeah, what do you think of the confirmation about her connection with Kuma now?
Yeah, I think it makes sense, and I assume maybe she was some type of princess, I guess, back in the day. I know, kind of going off of like Kuma the Tyrant and that he was a king.
Mm-hmm.
And probably most likely the world government framed him as a tyrant. You know, probably did some terrible stuff and put the blame on him, kind of like Doflamingo did to King Riku, for example, in Dressrosa.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that's kind of the most likely explanation, especially since he was probably working with the revolutionaries back then. He's probably like a good king, you know? Mm-hmm. So, and I know there's like all those theories too, that she was Akainu's father, and that kind of just got blown up there too. So,
yeah. But I mean, it kind of makes more sense why Akainu went after her. Because she's royalty.
Right.
So are her and Kuma like considered? Oh no, that's only that's only Cobra that and his family that were descended from the celestial dragons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But yeah, I'm glad to see that theory is finally resolved, because now we know kind of like why Bonnie was upset during Marineford now, especially seeing like the pacifistas are all in the image of her father, and he's completely like mindless now. Especially, I mean, just even thinking back to during the Reverie when they were using him as just to ride around on the celestial dragons. Yeah.
And so, and then going into the next room right here, it's just, you know, a lot of cool funky stuff that I think Oda wanted to really draw at some point, you know. Futuristic robots and stuff. So it looks like he had a lot of fun with it, and I did like a lot of the art and everything too. But it was interesting how he's bringing in this theme of holograms and light and everything, and then a weapon to combat said light later on in the chapter with which is introduced by the Vegapunk 6. Book 6. So, probably laying a foundation for a weapon against Kizaru somewhere down the road.
Yeah, and there's theories about who would get that, but I mean, people were saying Sanji would get it, but wouldn't Sanji be able to hit him with hockey? If that
exactly.
Yeah.
You'd think you really wouldn't need it if you're a hockey user, and I assume anyone that's going to take down Kizaru is going to be a hockey user.
Yeah.
So there might be another purpose there, but I kind of found that to be interesting, you know? Maybe Frankie will do a clash with him or something like that. But what do you think about Punk number 6, though?
I don't know. It was kind of... Wait, let me get a look at him. I don't know why, but the first thing that I thought of when I saw her was Minecraft.
Okay.
It was she's just like very boxy.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, it's interesting that her thing is wrath. But it seems like they all have their own individual personalities. Like it's so in that respect, it's not like Pain from Naruto, who he's just kind of controlling dead bodies. These seem to be like their own creations, or their own persons. And it's interesting because like the number 6 says, like debates on what makes something real are as old as time. It's something you'll have to decide for yourself. So, I mean, that could be... Oda might be trying to tell some sort of story with all the different things because of what happens at the end of the chapter with CP0's orders. But,
actually, it's kind of interesting. It overlaps the themes from Jaya a bit, too, with Blackbeard and Luffy's belief in dreams and Bellamy saying that's stupid, you know? Like, all those dreams and legends are over in a way, too. I don't know. So, I think Vegapunk is a bit of a dreamer, too, and everything. So, I mean, clearly he is because he wants to work so hard and he has these 6 paths and he's a genius and he just wants to keep on creating, stuff over and over again. Like he can actually has hope to make a difference in the world,
Yeah, I mean, especially what number 6 was saying, like when they're looking at this device that just makes food, they're like, oh, there's I can't be too happy because there's a lack of competent engineers that it can't be mass produced. So it does seem that Vegapunk wants to do good in the world, and just and when they're introducing when number 6 introduces herself, it's like scientific genius for hire. So it seems like the military just contracts out to Vegapunk for stuff. So it would almost seem like Vegapunk was neutral in all this, because it kind of seems that way with the way that Kuma was programmed to protect the Sunny during the time skip and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think one of the limits of world government and not giving Vegapunk all the resources he needs is too much technological advancement can disrupt the balance of the world too, and the world government's main thing is about keeping balance and stability, basically. But the food thing was pretty funny though, the gag and everything.
Yeah. I will say, I will say I really enjoyed Bonnie's interaction with Luffy during this. It's like the only person who can like keep up with him in terms of eating.
Yeah,
and just seeing them interact like that was fun.
Yeah, it was good. A good characterization. You could get Jinbei, Chopper, Luffy, which is an interesting little combo to have them all hanging out together too and everything. I like that a lot. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, we're just focusing more on the Straw Hats, and it's been good. And I think Bonnie coming into this arc has been pretty smooth so far, and I think it really it feels natural, is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't really feel shoehorned.
Yeah. But
everything's kind of lining up.
Yeah. But speaking of Bonnie really quick, it seems like she knows what the real Vegapunk looks like, because when number 6 her name is Atlas. When Atlas introduces herself, she's like, there's no way that you're Vegapunk. And I think earlier in the chapter she said something about meeting him before.
Yeah.
But I also want to say about Bonnie, she did say that she ran into Sabo at Mary Joa. So
yeah.
Oda just teasing us again with what happened at the Reverie and everything. But it seems like at the end of this arc we're gonna have like definitively what happened there, because Bonnie seems to know.
Yeah, maybe like a flashback chapter. And if I had to guess, I assume Kuma just teleported all them out of there, and that's how the revolutionary trash can commanders were able to escape, from the admirals. And I think that's basically what happened.
Yeah, but don't forget the admirals were bandaged, and the revolutionaries weren't.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But it was interesting in the yeah, I was pretty shocked though with the next panel with the new world, and we get the CP0, which I was pretty hyped about.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was, so Kaku explains why he has the 6 androids and everything, the satellites. But what I did find, I don't know, there were a lot of thoughts that came to mind, because I'm like, how is Oda gonna utilize CP0 in this?
Yeah.
Especially with the Kuma Seraphim as well. And how's that so I think the Kuma Seraphim, obviously he's gonna have a clash with Bonnie.
Yeah.
And it's gonna like infuriate Bonnie, right? But I also think, like, I mean, we're not sure with the Seraphim, but if it's a copy of like the warlords and stuff, do you think this Seraphim's gonna be doing something funky? Kind of like how the original Kuma does, or are they just completely like separate? Because in a way, you can kind of see the Seraphim as potentially like an inverse of the punks, right? Where they're both kind of getting controlled, but the Seraphims seem to have no personality compared to the punks who do have a personality. And it shows kind of the difference how the world government uses technology in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say that it just seems like these Seraphim are just there for battle. Like, you just point them at something. They're like pacifistas. They don't have a personality at all, but they somehow have like the lineage factor of the Lunarians.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I do agree that Bonnie's gonna be confronted with this one of Kuma, but it's also interesting because I think we said in the thing where the Seraphim were introduced that they seem to be grown because they were so young. But I don't know, this Kuma seems pretty... I think it's definitely smaller than the original Kuma, but it still looks pretty advanced. But this could be like the first Seraphim, because Kuma was the first pacifista as well.
So why do you think Vegapunk wants to be... Like, why do you think they want to eliminate Vegapunk?
I don't know, because, like, Lucci said he wonders if it has anything to do with Lulucia being destroyed. And I don't know, I don't see how that corresponds. Like, how these two things are connected.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see Lucci and Kaku run into the Straw Hats again, because I mean, people are already shitting on Lucci and Kaku, saying that they're weak and they're gonna get low diffed by Luffy and Zoro. But I don't know. I don't think Oda would bring them back like this and just have them be low diffed.
Yeah, I agree. I agree on that point. I mean, I know I'm a stan of these characters, so
yeah,
it wouldn't be much. But one point, real quick though, but it was kind of funny when Lucci says, "I'm the weird one for thinking that sounds impossible. Geniuses are such a pain." But like Rob Lucci was described as like a genius when we were first introduced to him, you know. And I think this kind of goes back to his power level, where I think he's grown probably insanely in power, and the reason why I say that is, well, one, he always gets matched up with Sabo and the other content, but also at the same time, Crocodile's back in the story, and he's portrayed as someone incredibly powerful, just, you know, off of bounty and the Yonko status with the crew and everything.
Yeah.
So if we see all these antagonists kind of like, let's just say relatively a power increase, you know, like all the old ones still are pretty strong, like they're growing, then I don't see why Lucci wouldn't grow at all. So that's kind of how I view his power. And I think Oda respects Lucci too much as a character. Yeah, like you said, just to bring him back to get destroyed. You know? Now, I will say, though, like, are they going to go after all the Straw Hats at once? Or are all these guys right here just going to go after Luffy, Jinbei, Chopper, and Bonnie?
I mean, yeah, that's another thing too, because yeah, if they're split up and like Zoro's half are taken by and have to deal with Lilith, then yeah, it could be just them taking on them, and that would be an interesting fight between all of them.
Yeah. Like giraffe versus a raccoon.
Yeah. Dude, if Chopper beats Kaku, never live it down.
Never live it down. Never live it down.
But yeah, I mean, I think we're obviously gonna get the other people involved from the neighboring marine base, where Helmeppo and Tashigi and Smoker. I assume Smoker's there, and the sword people are there. Because they said something about
what-
going to Egghead and getting
Yeah.
Seraphim.
So they might either stop the fight or like they may all start fighting each other because CP0 and Sword are considered enemies and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if that's going to be brought up at all too. And I mean, there's also wait, actually, I don't know. Do you think there's a potential that there's another Seraphim on board, or they only have that one?
I mean, there might be other Seraphim on Egghead Island.
That's true. Yeah.
So who knows? And who knows, like, who has the ultimate authority over Seraphim, like, to tell them what to do? Like, if, like, Helmeppo tells them to do something, could Rob Lucci override that?
Yeah.
Because of status or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and we haven't seen the Seraphim, like, mass-produce, like, multiple Kumas like we did at Marineford or anything. So, I mean, the Seraphim might be just, like, only one of them exists. But we don't know at this point.
Right. And I would say there's some minor character development for Rob Lucci at the end where... How can I say where... Okay. When we first saw him, he's just, look, I don't really care about justice. I can just kill as many people as I want for the world government and everything like that, you know? And then in that cover story, he kind of gets hunted down by the military and all that stuff, and then he gets away, and he, helps out those people at the town, kills the pirates, etc., etc. So, what I kind of find interesting with this character, like, at first, he's just kind of like, I'm a hired killer, I don't really care about anything. And now he's actually expressing some interest about what the government's doing right here.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of out of character for him.
Out of character in a good way?
Like, in a developmental way.
Yeah.
Like, he's changing, I think, just a little bit in that one panel there. That was just something I noticed, at least, from when we were first introduced to him.
Yeah, because he didn't really... Yeah, like you said, he didn't really question anything. He just... Yeah. So...
Then, yeah. Because I'd say out of, like, Kaku and Lucci, I mean... I feel like Kaku had the most, like, divided heart out of all the CP9 agents back in Eni's lobby, because he actually reminisced and delighted how he was a Galley La crewsman, you know, and everything.
Yeah.
After Zoro defeated him. So, I do kind of find it interesting how, yeah, Lucci's expressing this. And I still think there's hope for Kaku, too, to kind of have a redemption, also. I don't know about Lucci, maybe he's too far gone, but I still think Kaku might turn the other leaf, potentially.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'm excited to see more Stussy.
Yeah, we also get to see her mask on the table, too.
Yeah.
No Kaku's, though.
No, we see Kaku's in the panel right above the Vegapunk satellite one.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Okay.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, it's hard to miss. It's the only one with the long nose.
There you go. That's an awesome mask right there. Oh, man. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, overall, though, another great chapter. Egghead Island arc's been doing really well so far. Yeah. It's, I think it's hitting all the right points.
Yeah. Last thought for me, I think it's interesting. Like, we saw last chapter when Luffy had showed, like, some sort of sense of pride for his crew or whatever, that he kind of morphed into the Nika form. And same thing when he's angry here, he kind of shifts into the Nika form.
Yeah.
Like, and we kind of see, like, almost like Conqueror's lightning off of him. So it seems like Oda's going to be leaning into that for, like, the comedy bits, it seems.
Yeah.
Just because of the nature of the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good observation right there.
Yeah. Like, I mean, he even has, like, the little smoke cloud around him. Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to answers from Lucci and really Zoro's interaction with Lilith. But yeah.
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking about that. Yeah, we could also get more from the Reverie in terms of information from Lucci and all them.
Yeah. That's true too.
Yeah. So there's, yeah, Oda's doing a good job, I may say, of linking everything together. You know, so this is good stuff. But anyways, thank you for listening, everyone. Leave a like and subscribe, and we will talk to you later. See ya.
Peace.